Good morning, everybody. This is Mike Lung over at Allendale's Trading Floor. It is Thursday, November 5th, and still waiting on the election results. So as we get into it, we're seeing some prices really start to take a jump up since we are seeing what we're looking at for the House and Senate coming through. Corn, beans breaking a new high is getting above that $11 mark here since a long while. Corn going towards the 412 area after actually broken new highs after I took this price chart. With a lot of these markets, excluding the crude oil, moving higher here on the day. The equities continue to take a nice rise, seeing that deadlock in Congress as beneficial. So as we said, tech stocks taking the lead as investors are looking for those curbed regulations to mitigate chance of higher taxes under a split Congress, looking for a lot of fighting, much like we've seen out of the House and the President over the last 4 years, just seeing a lot of more infighting between the House and between the Senate there. Open interest in beans, surprisingly, after yesterday's 22-cent jump, actually decreased 4,400 contracts. And as we said, the results are still at a standstill. What really came in here yesterday that took us by surprise is USDA gave us yet another change. They're taking one out of your local cable provider's book and saying, sorry, we messed up pretty big again. But we're going to probably do it again in the future. We've seen it 3 times in a row now. You're seeing the soybeans come in with a 51 million bushel change more than what we were expecting. So huge change, something we were not expecting clearly, and helped rise soybeans up 22 cents yesterday and continued to take in a strong leap here today. On the export sales report, corn's the only one that beat expectations, with all the remaining, excluding soybean meal, reaching the upper end of expectations. So looking good on the demand pull side of the equation here still. So looking at the corn, we're looking at the most active weekly chart for corn. We want to bump this out a little bit further. We had that outside week lower yesterday. As of right now, looking about a little over 50% of last week's move so far. So we'll be seeing how we end out this week. But the real story is still on the bean side of things. So we'll see if that outside week is able to hold, and if that is in fact our high going forward. Friday's close will be huge to determine whether or not we negate that outside week look and start marching back higher along with beans. On the bean side of things, I want to pull this chart out a little bit more. This is the most active chart. This is going to be your weekly. I wanted to pull it back to that 2016 rally. We took this run and, surprisingly enough, actually had the same kind of choppy movement here between this $8.95 and $11 mark. During 2016, we ended every single week higher, which is a little bit different than what we've been seeing this time. But you do get a break above this 11, break and close above this 11, and you don't have a lot of topside resistant marks to be looking for. You got the head and shoulders projection that could be looking at 1120, but after that you got that spike high of 1208 for this front month most active contract. So something to be paying attention to. Do I think we'll get all the way up there at this point? I don't, but with all the surprises the USDA keeps throwing our way in regards to stuff that is chipping away at this balance sheet, you can't count it out at this point. So we'll be watching that. We'll be watching for a close above. If we do get a setback, you could, especially with the amount of open interest that's been decreasing, see this really start to move back, much like what you saw after that 2016 rally. So something to be paying attention to there. On the livestock side of things, seeing Choice and Select again rise yesterday, showing some support in this cattle market. Carcass down a little bit, down 58 cents. In the cattle market, saw the drop, came right up to resistance, and so far are moving a bit sideways. Might be something that they're waiting for the election results. It might be the only market that's waiting for the election results, seeing if there is going to be curbs put back in for a lockdown if Biden does get elected, since he is the front runner at this point. So if he does get Nevada, it's all over. That will be 270. So a lot rides on this Nevada vote right now. On the lean hog side of things, again, another market that's moving sideways. This livestock with the packing, especially with how much these packing houses were under scrutiny during the first lockdown, potentially is the reason we see these moving sideways at this point. Watch for some spread action. Seems to be a lot of interest in those spreads one way or another. So keeping in mind, if you guys have any questions, please give me a call, 815-578-6177. But today for Allendale, this is Mike Lung. You guys have a great day out there.